πίσω να γυρίσει, συνάγια έπαξη, ας τα χαρώσω, να κοιτώριαστε σαν μαχητής, κι αν πέσω όρθιος και αν μαρμόξω, αν κύρα κούλος σου,
What if I was to tell you that we're at war? Not a war between countries or political ideologies, not a war spoken about in the media or by famous people, not a war involving guns, nuclear warheads, or any other kind of artillery. This war we are speaking of is different, unusual and invisible. It is a war that began thousands of years ago and continues to this day. It is the ultimate battle between good and evil. I think you know the war that I am speaking of. Of course, it is the spiritual war. The warfare that we are called to fight daily at every moment of our lives. The war that is both a struggle and a joy. The war that leads us to salvation. Our own Lord instructed us about this war. In the Gospel of Matthew, Christ tells us, "Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." As I mentioned earlier, this spiritual warfare is different to the wars of the world. However, we can use the wars of the world to help us better understand how we are to traverse the battles of the spiritual warfare. Firstly, how does a war begin? There must be an enemy, someone or some idea that we are fighting against. As a great general once said, when you know the enemy's plan, you have half the victory. The enemy in the spiritual war is no ordinary enemy. He is cunning and crafty, stubborn and capable of quick and devastating attacks. The devil is prepared to use whatever means necessary to bring us down. He is ready to fight us on any battlefield. He is experienced and he uses his experience to entrap us. Who has ever gone fishing before? What do you know about fishing? Firstly, it requires good bait. As any good fisherman will tell you, the type of bait you use can be the difference between catching 50 fish and catching no fish. Just like a fisherman, the devil uses his own bait to trap us. He tailors the bait to each person he is trying to catch out. For one person, the bait may be a group of friends going to a party on a Friday night. For another, the trap may be an advertisement online. The devil is ready to fight on any battlefield. As St. Mark the ascetic says, "He who is ignorant of the enemy's ambush is easily slain, and he who does not know the causes of the passions is soon brought low." How are we going to fight this battle? The Lord himself gives us the answer. Watch and pray, lest you fall into temptation. Firstly, watch. We can take this to mean vigilance. Why vigilance? Well, as Saint Euthymius the Great says, "Be all eye like the cherubim, and guard yourself everywhere with the greatest diligence, because you are walking among nets and snares." Saint Piman the Great, "It is good to avoid causes of sin. A man who is near an occasion of sin is like a person standing on the edge of a ledge, and the enemy can easily cast him down. On the other hand, a man who avoids the causes of sin is like a person standing far away from that ledge. Even if the enemy were to drag us to the edge, whilst being dragged, the person can resist and call upon God for help." Again, another church father, St. Ignatius Branchaninov, "But as soon as any passion makes its appearance, without a moment's delay cut it off by the commandments of the gospel. If you do not indulge or yield to the passions, you will see their mortification. But if you indulge in them, dally or converse with them, cherish and take pleasure in them, then they will mortify and kill you." So how do we gain vigilance? Or as Saint Hezekiah of Jerusalem says, vigilance comes from the most careful study of the Gospel commandments. Reading of the Scriptures is vital in defending ourselves against temptations. Through the reading of the Scriptures, we are enlightened by God. We are familiarizing ourselves with the life of Christ, and in turn, instilling us with the Christ-like way of thinking. The Lord himself, when he was attacked by the devil in the desert, showed us the importance of knowing the Scriptures to help us in the times of temptation. And what about the second defense we used against the enemy? Prayer. St. Isaac the Syrian says, "Before the war begins, seek after your ally. Before you fall ill, seek out your physician. And before grievous things come upon you, pray, and in the time of your tribulations you will find him, and he will listen to you." When we engage in prayer, it is like we are the radio operator in the war, calling in the air raid to bomb the enemy from above. In this way, prayer is one of the most powerful weapons we have in this spiritual warfare. In prayer, I am directly communicating with my Creator, the one who knows me better than I do. When we look through the ages, we see that wars are often won with numbers, with the help of others, with allies. We also have allies in this spiritual war. Those around us who encourage us to strive further in our faith. Our friends, our teachers, our parents, our spiritual father, our guardian angel, the examples of the saints, our most holy Theotokos, and of course, God himself. Saint Ignatius, speaking to monks, said, "You should know, pious monks, that when Satan comes to you with his temptations, your omnipresent Lord is here, too, looking at you, at your mind and heart, and waiting to see how your contest will end. Let us take courage in this, that wherever we are and whatever situation we find ourselves in, the Lord is there also." Let me now finish by telling you of a story that Saint Paisios once recounted of a monk from Mount Athos by the name of Elder Habakkuk. One day, when Elder Habakkuk was on a rock in Vigla, praying with his kombuskini, the devil suddenly appeared to him as an angel of light and said to him, "Habakkuk, Habakkuk, God has sent me to take you to paradise, because you have become an angel. Come on, let's fly." Elder Habakkuk was utterly amazed and answered in fear, "How am I going to fly? You have wings to fly with." The supposed angel said to him, "You have wings too, Habakkuk. You have become an angel, but you can't see them." Then Elder Habakkuk humbly made the sign of a cross and said, "My Panagia, who am I that I should fly?" He had hardly managed to finish his humble words when he saw that supposed angel transformed all at once into a grotesque black goat with wings like those of a bat, flying down into the chasm towards the sea and disappearing from sight. Extremely terrified, Elder Habakkuk gave thanks to Apanaia for her protection, because the evil one would have cast him into chaos. So you see how the weapons of vigilance and prayer, combined with the elder's humility and simplicity, were able to defeat the devil's cunningness. As St. John of Chronston says, "Without struggle there is no virtue. Without temptation there is no certain way of finding out if our love and faith for Christ is genuine." Therefore, by studying, praying, and with participation in the mysteries of our Church, Christ always stays within us, and we have nothing to fear. So let us fight the good fight and pray to our Lord, "Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil."